Hello everyone, I'm back, it's Riley, hello. I just filmed a regression video and I don't feel like getting up. So we're in the regression room today. Today I wanted to do a little video on managing anxiety and panic attacks. And before I get started, disclaimer, these are optional things, these are opinionated things. The things that I say may not work for you. Everybody is different. Everybody who experiences anxiety and panic attacks are different. So just because the things that I say might not apply to you doesn't mean that you're broken or bad. There might be plenty of other things that I don't mention that do help you. You gotta look into it for yourself. These are just a few things that I do to manage my anxiety and panic attacks. And disclaimer, again, they won't always work. Sometimes they'll work, but they don't always work. That's kind of how mental illness works. First suggestion, it might seem obvious, but I'm going to reiterate it because it's important. Talk to your doctor about it. I am serious. There are plenty of psychiatrists out there that can specialize in anxiety and panic disorders, and since that is one of the more common mental illnesses in the world, they're not nearly as difficult to find as other specialists are. And not only can they diagnose a condition for you, but they can also prescribe a medication to help with your anxiety and panic attacks if that is something that you are open to. These kinds of medications can be incredibly helpful. And there are anxiety medications out there that aren't benzodiazepines. Of course, like all medication, it is trial and error. There are going to be some things that don't work for you. Maybe the non-benzos don't work for you and the benzos are the only thing that do work for you. That's okay. I personally take Ativan to combat my panic attacks, and it is the only medication that I have found or tried that actually helps them. There's nothing wrong with taking meds. There's nothing bad about taking meds. You are not broken if you have to take a medication to manage your anxiety and panic attacks. And along with talking to a doctor or psychiatrist about medication, you can explore different avenues such as therapy. There are loads of different therapy styles out there in the world, and you can test out the waters, see which ones might work for you, which ones don't. You can see an individual therapist, you could go to a support group, you could go to group therapy. There are loads and loads and loads of options. And if you are someone who doesn't have insurance or is too anxious to meet somebody in person, I know that there are online therapy resources. The one that I have heard the most good things about is BetterHelp. This is not a sponsored video, but I will link them down in the description because I know that that can be really helpful, especially if online therapy is something you think would work better for you. Thing number 2 is to educate yourself on and practice different coping skills. I know this is another thing that seems like it should be so obvious, but I feel like it's something that a lot of us forget when we're in thralls of an attack. Breathing exercises in general can be really helpful. I know my favorite breathing exercise is breathing in for 3 counts, holding for 4 counts, breathing out for 5 counts, holding for 2 counts. With that, and with breathing out longer than you breathe in, I will try to link a study below, but there have been studies shown that it is proven to lower your heart rate. So if you are somebody that experiences physical symptoms of anxiety, breathing out longer than you breathing in can actually physically relax your body. Teach yourself to ground in anxiety-inducing situations so that you can be brought back to reality. And this is something that is a lot easier said than done. The more you practice this kind of grounding, even when you're not anxious, the easier it becomes, especially to do it in those situations. For grounding, you could be using different scents to help you out. So having your favorite perfume or essential oil on you and taking a sniff of that to kind of center yourself. You could use items like weighted stuffed animals or blankets. I know those 2 things are 2 things that I do regularly to ground myself. And another thing I do to ground myself is use meditation. There are thousands of guided meditations here on YouTube to help you through a panic attack. There are so many of them. Same with just regular anxiety as well. Next time you're experiencing anxiety or panic, give it a shot. Look up a guided meditation to stop panic. and just try it out. Now, not every meditation may work for you. You may like some people more than you like others, but that's just the thing. You have to go through it and find the people that you do like and listen to those meditations. Two of my favorites are Thomas Hall and the channel Relax for a While by Joanne D'Amico. I've used them both for years and I find them very relaxing, and their visualizations are something that really helps to ground. My third suggestion is something that might not apply to everyone. Not everyone might be okay with that, but that is okay. You don't have to listen to me here. This is just something that I have found to be helpful personally, and that is to open yourself up to more natural remedies for anxiety and panic. Now, a lot of times these will not work, or some of them will work and some of them won't. It depends on who you are as a person. If you are spiritual, religious, there are loads of more natural ways that you can try to combat anxiety. But like I said, these will not work for everyone. It's trial and error, just like everything else. The one thing that I have found to be the most helpful with my anxiety and panic is CBD and medical marijuana. CBD is legal in the entire country. I believe it's also legal internationally, and I know that there are some states in the US and some countries where marijuana is legal. Again, this is not for everyone, so make sure if you do decide to try, especially THC, that you are in a safe and comfortable environment and don't do too much at once, especially if it's THC. CBD is non-psychoactive, so you won't get a high from it, but it has all of the same benefits as the THC marijuana does. And I have started taking a full spectrum hemp oil CBD that you can get on Amazon. I will link it down in the description so you can check it out. And I have been using that for the last week and a half to combat my panic, and it actually takes the panic away within about 5 minutes, and I was incredibly impressed by it. I had tried other types of CBD before, gummies and things, and it never really worked for me, but I decided to try this tincture that you just put under the tongue, and after a few seconds you swallow it, and I am absolutely blown away by how much it actually helps. So if you are interested in that, I will leave a link to it in the description. If you are a more spiritual person, you could always carry items with you that you put your intention into, say a crystal. Amethyst, for example, is said to be a very calming crystal. So if you hold that crystal at the beginning of the day and say, I program this crystal to help control my anxiety, put it in your pocket, you've got that kind of extra reminder with you throughout the day. Whether or not you believe that it'll help or not, or you believe that the crystal itself has powers, you'll feel that crystal in your pocket and it'll remind you, oh, I'm trying to not be anxious today. And like I said, this is not going to work for everyone. I know for some people it's very woo-woo and does not seem rational. But these are also things that I have found that I've been doing through my spirituality. I'm Wiccan, and I find a lot of comfort in doing things like that. Another thing is you could always, if you are into the more witchy, new age stuff, you could always ask your tarot cards or your runes what are better ways for you to manage your anxiety and interpret from that. And number 4, remind yourself that the anxiety and panic that you are feeling is not permanent. I know it feels in the moment like it is going to last forever, but it won't. It is just like any other emotion that you experience. It comes and it goes. It will not last forever. And I know that it feels like it will in the moment, absolutely. But if you can use some of these other skills, you can ground yourself, you can take some medication, you can do a meditation. Do that and just wait it out for a little bit. Odds are you'll feel a little bit better. Those are just a few things that I do to manage my panic attacks and anxiety. I hope you found at least something in this video a little bit helpful, and if you enjoyed this and would like to see more content from me, you can subscribe to this channel. I try to post over here once a week, but I also have a vlog channel and an age regression channel that I post on way more often, like 3 times a week on the age regression channel. Those channels are linked down below if you you want to subscribe to those as well. I'm not super active on it right now, but if you want to keep up with me day to day when I am active, you can follow me on all platforms at the Riley Kyle. But it might be worth heading over to my regression channel and then checking out my regression social media, because that tends to be where I'm at most days. I love you guys a lot, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.